VisionOS 2.0 was just announced last week at WWDC. There are a whole bunch of features we've never seen before, like turning 2D photos into 3D images, but there's also a whole bunch of stuff that's clearly been stolen off some of the other VR headset manufacturers. I wanted to go through this feature list from the perspective of a Quest headset user. I am not an Apple Vision Pro enthusiast, but I'm also not ride or die for Meta. I really just want to see new products and new features come to the market, and I want the consumer to be the winner in the end. That's why I want to have this video and talk with you guys in the comments down below about your thoughts on this feature list, because these are the type of features that we will be seeing in VR for a long time. So I'm really excited to hear your perspectives down below. All the chapters are going to be located down below and all the references are in the description. But with that being said, let's jump into it. I'm going to start off by going over all the new hand gestures they've added to VisionOS 2.0, beginning with something that seems very familiar for you Quest headset users. Now on VisionOS 2.0, with your palm facing towards your face, you can pinch your pointer finger and thumb in order to access the app library. This is the exact same user interface tool that we have for the Quest headsets, using the pinching feature to open up that app library and settings. But there are a couple new features that they've added that I think are really cool and really interesting to see. One of them being, with your palm facing downwards, you can now see the absolutely critical information used on your Vision Pro. Being the date, the time, you can easily change the control volume, and you can check your battery level. The second feature being, while your palm is facing down, you can now pinch, similarly to when your palm is up for the app library, to access the control center. I also think that this is a great feature. Having quick access to these settings is going to be really important for the user interface and for people's ability to control their devices super easily. The faster and more intuitive we make these things, the better. So I really like these features coming out, and I hope to see some of these brought over to the Quest line of headsets. The second update is kind of minor, and it's also something that we kind of expected to see when Vision Pro came out initially. It's the rearranging of apps on the home screen. You were previously forced to have these apps laid out in alphabetical order, and now you can lay them out in whatever order you want. This WWDC had a lot of focus on customization for the user, and this was definitely a part of that, giving the user the ability to rearrange apps and put them in whatever order they like, because you use some apps a lot more than others. A really cool feature that I have not seen before is the ability to turn any regular photo into a spatial photo. You can now upload any previously taken 2D image. It will then detect the foreground and background and the most critical parts of the image and make a 3D render of this image to be able to view in the Apple Vision Pro. This is crazy to me. It obviously felt like this was going to come at some point. We all knew it was possible, but for them to make this completely open to the consumers already is absolutely amazing. And I really hope we get to see stuff like this done through Meta. We know that they have the infrastructure and the compute power to do this in the cloud. I don't think the Quest headsets would probably be capable of doing this alone, but I would love the ability to do this and upload it to my headset to be able to review images in a spatial format. Staying in the Photos app, they added the ability to use Shareplay. This allows you and another person to view any type of media together. That can be photos, videos, panoramas, anything like that. This will use the other person's spatial persona to portray their image and their face to you so that you guys can have reactions and talk and be able to view this media together. I think this is absolutely awesome. Once we're able to do this easily on the Apple Vision Pro, and once it's very seamless to do this for things like movies and other sort of content watching locally, I think it's going to be absolutely great to use and really good for social interaction. So really excited for this feature and hope that it's brought to other headsets soon. There were some big developments for the Mac Virtual Display. The Mac Virtual Display is when you hook your Apple Vision Pro up wirelessly to your Mac, similar to using Meta Horizon Workrooms, Virtual Desktop, or Immersed. But they added a couple new display features that make it a lot better for the user. Originally, there was only one viewing experience, normal. They've now added wide and ultra wide. Ultra wide is equivalent to having two side-by-side 4K monitors. This is powered by the eye-tracked dynamic foveation. This is something the Quest 3 does not have because it lacks eye tracking. An interesting take that I thought they did on this was the fact that they didn't outline the monitors. They didn't have it act as separate monitors. It is just one ultra-wide display. It would have been interesting to see them do 3 side-by-side monitors or 2 side-by-side monitors at 4K, but they're definitely focusing on the ability to use the virtual world to create an ultra-wide display. I could definitely see, as more and more people move into virtual headsets for productivity purposes, the kind of abolishment of multiple displays. The only reason we'd have monitors and things like virtual desktop and immersed is because we're used to it in the real world. So as we move to the virtual world and as we use our virtual headsets for productivity purposes, I could definitely see us just moving to singular massive displays that use eye-tracked dynamic foveation in order to run well on these, relatively lean headsets. So I'm really interested to see what this looks like in the future, and I think this is a great step for productivity. Vision Pro is becoming an Airplay target, meaning that instead of using your phone to cast to your TV, you can now cast to the Vision Pro with all the media, games, and other stuff that you might be viewing from your phone. I think this is a really cool feature. The biggest frustration I have with the Quest headset is being able to use my phone while in pass-through or in an immersive environment, and something like this is a great feature that I think they should add for just seamless connectivity purposes. The physical Magic keyboard that Apple produces will show up in immersive environments, and the physical mice are now supported. This is similar but different than pass-through, which we have on the Meta Quest already. This will create a virtual version of your keyboard and track your fingers to determine what keys you're pressing. There are already versions like this on the Quest headset, but of course the competition is good, and I'm glad to see that Apple stole this for their own product. Travel mode, which was originally designed for airplanes, is now usable on trains. For some reason, they just made it to where it was completely unusable in cars and things like that. With the Quest version of travel mode, I've been using it in a car with very minimal issues, but they don't publicly announce that it's available for car usage. And I assume that this will be sort of the same thing with the Apple Vision Pro after this update, that it's available on more forms of transportation. They're just not going to publicly make that aware, because if it doesn't work perfectly, it's on them. So they're going to try to kind of cover their butts on that. There were 3 new developer kits announced, including volumetric APIs for side-by-side 3D apps, tabletop kit for making games on tables in the real world, and enterprise APIs for the enterprise purposes of the Vision Pro. This doesn't matter much to most of you consumers because it's going to take a little bit for developers to really take full advantage of these, but this is just really good for the development of new apps coming to the Vision Pro and new developers coming into the virtual reality market simply because Apple's giving them the tools to do so. There's lots of Apple Immersive Content coming to the TV app soon. They are partnering with Canon for a spatial camera accessory to allow higher quality spatial content to be recorded. And there's a lot of new content that's exclusive to the Apple Vision Pro coming out, which I think is really good to see. I don't think there's enough content in the virtual reality space right now. And I definitely think Apple putting some finances into this is going to be really good. Let me know what you guys think down below, and let me know what you hope that Quest steals and what its format might look like for the Quest headsets. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was the latest report in virtual reality. I will see you guys in the next video.